Hey guys, so I just literally put this together in like 2 hours today, starting at like noon. Pretty proud of it so far, but I want to show you like a walkthrough of like how I did it because my buddy on SoundCloud was wondering how did I do this so quick. Well, um, to be honest, the chords that I wrote right here and the ARP was created maybe yesterday, and I did a little resampling right here, but it was at a slower rate. I think it was 145 at the moment, but I changed it to a D&B track. It's nothing special, but it's still melodic and has nice atmosphere. But I'll just show you a quick preview. I'm just gonna show you like half of each. Like, say there's two here. I'm just gonna show you one half of each. So I had these chords with a wah effect, which is kind of like a bandpass um, type of deal here. It's going like this, wow, 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 wow. And then I have another one filtering in with it. And I'll just let you listen to this real quickly. So for that, I had these chords being filtered, high pass or low pass filter going up, and then I also had the volume of this arpeggiator, which is just a simple ARP power riff, which is 145. Turn the volume down so it's not internally clipping. The chords are actually a Rhodes thing right here that I use on FL keys. Very simple stuff, very simple processing. Well, maybe not so simple because there's delay, and I cut out the low end twice. Add a delay with every 4 beats, and then of course the wah filtering and such. And then I had it going to my atmosphere bus, which is a long decay with a little bit of low end to it. The room size it's pretty like when you open Fruity Reverb, it's pretty similar to the default. I just changed it to like a little bit of pre-delay, turned up the low cut, turned up the decay, turned down the dry, and I waited. I think it was flat, and then I went bright, and that's pretty much all it is. And what this is doing is like I'm routing this to here. So what this is gonna do is if I have it 100% dry, it's gonna double the the sound because there's a dry signal going through with it. So if I turn all the way down, you're gonna get nothing but the reverb for it. That's why I did that for the atmosphere. So everything that I turn into atmosphere will have the same exact reverb, thus sounding like it's in the same room. I also cut out the low end a bit, a little bit of the high end. Um, hmm, yeah, the ARP itself. Let's see where the ARP is. I believe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So pretty much volume. I have a mute here because what I'm going to do later on is have during the drop, I'm going to have it like really have a lot of delay and heavy reverb in there. But once it goes to the next phase of the drop or whatever, I want it to completely cut out just to give it a nice clean cut feel to it. I've also have some white noise coming in. This is a pre-made reverb I made. It goes back as far as that song "It's Us," and there's already pre-made volume envelope. It's normally just bottom, like completely flat, but of course, I changed accordingly. This is like a reverb. This is like a sidechain signal, so I could do the pumping effect every time it like goes. It goes. Whoop, 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 whoop. You get the gist of it. Um, Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have so far. Next, I added a very simple D&B loop, and that one is actually being filtered low pass filter or high cut. So, no, high pass with low cut. So there's no, it's completely, all at low end is cut out, but as I progress to the drop, you can see here it goes lower, so it gets more of that low end. This Afro loop is like I got it from an sample pack that has like African style percussions. Cheeky pluck I made in another folder part where it's like has a nice little thick little perky sound to it, and of course the sub bass. Nothing too groundbreaking. The reason why it looks like that is because I added I made a little bit of a square into it and then a triangle. That way you get a little bit more upper harmonics with the bass. Sidebar. This right here is actually this sound right here. Whoa. Yeah, hold on. I'll show you what this is first. So this right here is the drop chords with the different melodies to it. Very simple. Sine wave all the way up. Very little processing. A little bit of high shelf, delay, and reverb. 2 with it in stereo. Thing is, I don't put it all the way left because the problem with that is when I sum the mono, you can still hear it. But look, check what it sounds like when I put it in the middle. It sounds louder again because for some reason, the more I put it, if I complete stereo, it's going to lose maybe 2 decibels worth of sound in your when you sum it to mono. So I just keep it to right here, just almost like halfway between halfway of, if you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain, but very simple. There's absolutely no processing. Maybe I could just take out the low end just a little bit. And yeah, to make it that plucky sound, I added this thing right here, just to decay. And what else did I add? I think that's it. And then a high I can't even talk. Okay, high snare. And this part is a little too loud, so I'll probably not make it so loud. So I'll probably take a limiter, copy value, because I only want it for the start that's not so loud. So I'll take the copy of this there and then adjust accordingly. So let's see. Yeah, so from here I'll just make it turn it down just a little bit, like maybe 5-6 decibels. It's at 50%. I'll turn it down to 40, so it's not as loud at the start. Maybe I can automate the pitch of it. I like doing that for some reason, just to make things more interesting. So take 50%, which is why I do 50% is because when you look at the octaves here of the snare right here, if I put it on 12, that means 12 semitone. So I can go down a semitone, an octave, or go up an octave. So I'm going to go up an octave just to liven it up a bit. Or we could do it the other way, it doesn't really matter. Let's see what it sounds like going up first. Let's try going all the way up an octave and going down 1 octave. So it's going down 2 octaves and all together. See, that's too harsh. So maybe if I just went back and went up an octave. and I want this to go back to its original pitch later down in the song, so I'll just bring it here and then make it back down to an octave. So yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all there is for the intro. It's very clean, very simple, but I'll probably add more to that in a bit. So let's listen to the drop. This one's pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty proud of it, so check it out. So how I did this melody right here, this one, very simple. It sounds like a Daft Punk, Devil's Den, Skrillex kind of lead. This cheeky pluck right here is actually the same melody. That way it doesn't sound like it's out of nowhere when it drops. So you're kind of introduced to the melody right here. Oh, whoops. And then for that drop, of course, I changed the synth to a heavier one. And that synth itself, this lead, is there's actually no processing except it's going into the atmosphere bus, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, so how did I do the chords? Chords are actually very simple. There are 3 layers. I'll show you the one layer first, the first chord. So it's just a detuned saw, very simple. A little bit of reverb, dimension expander, a boost, quite a bit of a high shelf, some detuning in the oscillators, and it's completely widened to stereo. Limiter, what did I do this for again? I have no idea why that's limited, but I'll turn that off. So that's pretty much a simple detuned saw. And I did a second layer of a completely clean saw with just 2 unison, almost stereo, completely no processing whatsoever. So and then this one is like a pluck chord. This is a thing I made like 2 years ago maybe. It's called Barbados. It kind of has like that steel drum tropical sound to it. A little bit of detune, stereo. There's a little bit of sample and hold going. Actually, no sample and hold there to make that weird funky feel to it. Everything is being pitched down an octave, and then there's a low pass pluck. Did a little bit of phasing. Actually, there is no phase. Okay. There's a phaser right here, which I did a little bit of it. Reverb, took up the high shelf. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Absolutely no processing whatsoever. Again, like, this song is actually really fucking sick for how little processing I've done to it. Now, to fill in all that space, you gotta add in like a nice little saw or like whatever kind of bass sound that will go with your bass notes and also hits with your chords. So this is a simple one. Very little processing, getting absolutely nothing going on there. But over here in the bass bus, there's a dimension expander on it, a glue compressor, and a supercharger, which is like it was a free plug-in, but there's absolutely no thing going through it right now. Like, there's no processing. It's pretty straightforward. Also cut out around 2,000 hertz because or 20,000 hertz. Sorry, that's why you don't get too much white noise in the top there. The sub bass pretty straightforward. Just another triangle sub bass. And I took down just a little bit where the higher notes get a little loud, because I noticed that when you play a note above, like, say say the lowest key is C2, and then I went up A2 would be much louder, so I just took a little dip down there. See right here, A and B key is right around here, so I just took that down a bit. And there's a little bit of a click in there, so I'm gonna, oh yeah, I forgot to do this. You want to always have your sub bass hitting oscillator phase restart via gate, so every wave sound is going to hit exactly at the same sound or the same wave table. That's why there's no phasing. But I also like to take out that clicky sound. That doesn't sound good. So if I layer the bass and that together, you got if you layer, and if I show you all the chords layered together, this is how it sounds like. Now if I layer that with the bass and the sub, you're going to get this monstrous sound. And don't forget the melody. Thus. I think this second part right here, I'm going to have my friend put some vocal chops, or she's going to sing for like maybe the first part right here. And then have her vocal chops here, then I'll have her sing again right here. That part's very bare right now, there's not a lot going on, but as it builds up, it's going to have like a 7 lines kind of feel to the second drop right here, where it goes by 2-step instead of a D&B kind of thing, where it's like, it's going to go like, so as you can tell. Simple. And then right here is kind of like another breakdown, just to give the listeners a break, or like from dancing or whatever. And then here's the second drop. This one's really weird but really cool. It kind of has like that garage old school D&B sound to it. There's a lot of like really high-end perky snares and such, so I'll let you listen to that real quickly. bunch of things and make it repeat, and then slowly get shorter, and build up, and then go back to So, how I made this, change it up a little bit. First I'll go to the sub bass. Don't worry about these chords because I probably want to include that in there. So right here is another simple bass line. What I have here is a Reese. It's a really gnarly Reese, but I just low passed it by a ton. Or sorry, band pass and a high pass, and then added a low pass. So it's kind of confusing because it has to do with processing. So this thing, I'll show you without completely processing. So what this is doing is getting rid of all those upper harmonics, because what I want is only just that warm feel to it. I also did a stereo enhancer, but I don't think, I don't think there's anything in there. I think I should delete that. And what I did here is I just turned up the unison panning to 50%, so it has 3 voices and it's in stereo now. So next I added a high pass, that way the sub bass can fill in that one spot. And then I did a band pass again with a low end and a little bit more of a low cut, so you get this. Barely audible, but it makes a huge difference for sure. And then I added the sub bass. Now what I added here, from the very start, when I showed you that one pad, the very start, that was in like 145 BPM. It's in the key of the song, of course. I just chopped it up and this is just like a dub loop that I made a long time ago. What else I had? High perks. A high, like, perky snare, just to give it a nice, like, texture. This too. I like these sounds for some reason. They just give, like, a weird, nice feel to it. I don't know what it is. I think it's my ASMR that really likes that. But, in case you don't know what ASMR is, it's kind of like your brain gets pleasure out of hearing certain sounds. Like you physically get a physical response from listening to a certain sound. Kind of like if I hear like crumpling paper, or if I hear like someone writing a pencil on a paper, and you can hear like that, or I don't know what it is. It sends chills down my spine. I don't know. It kind of goes the same thing with this. I added, of course, that Afro loop. What else did I add? I changed the snare up for this drop just to give it a more perky sound to it. I love that. And right here I added more perks. And new snare. Intro sounds to progress it. And I forgot that right here. That has sub bass there. So what I would have to do is duplicate it and get rid of it. because there's already sub bass there and it's interfering. I totally forgot about that. Didn't know about that. So let's see, get that. Put it right here. Oops. Yeah, there you go. Replace it with that. It actually sounded better when that bass line was consistent, so I'll get rid of that bass line, this bass line right here, and just add this, where is it, this one. In other words, a consistent line going on. Like right here it's just a little choppy, there's breaks, and then right here it's consistent. As for the kick and snare, they are actually pretty straightforward. There's nothing really there. They're just took a little bit of a ringy sound in the kick to cut out around 18 kilohertz. Took a little dip in an area that didn't sound right. Snare, pretty straightforward, nothing going on. Drum bus, there's a limiter, but I don't know why I have it there in the first place. That's pretty much all I have so far, but so the idea of the song is I'm gonna have this friend of mine I met online, she sings, I'm gonna have her sing probably right here, then have her vocal chops right here, and then another verse right here, and then maybe harmonics and vocal chops again. And then right here is like more harmonies, just like calming. And then back right here, I'm going to do like a totally new vocal glitch to go with this, just to give it really cool, take it to a next level pretty much. And probably right here as well. And then right here, back to the normal drop. Right there we'll have her vocals come in again, vocal chops, and then break. That's pretty much all it is. And if I check project info, as you can see it says 4/4/14 is actually when I start writing those first chords and resampling. So but today I literally spent like 2 hours, literally 2.5 hours maybe, or three, I don't know how long, pretty short amount of time, and I managed to break this out, and like I'm pretty proud of that. That's pretty cool. There's definitely some things that, well, there's a ton that could be added there, so I'm gonna definitely do that in a bit. I just thought I'd share that because there's people who are like, how do you do that so quick? How did you like, right? It's just a matter of just keep doing it, not being a perfectionist about it, because I struggled out with a lot back when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I would procrastinate so much because I would always think, oh man, I have this cool idea in my head and it sounds perfect, but I have a feeling if I go too far into it and start too quickly and too fast, I will miss certain things that I had an idea for, and then it just becomes shit all of a sudden, because like you have this idea in your head that it's going to sound sick, but then when you start putting your stuff in, your music, your elements, it just starts to turn to shit. That's basically your biggest enemy, is procrastinating and being a perfectionist. Is really just like get in there and just start writing no matter what. If it sounds like shit, you can always go back and change it. You just gotta just keep writing, and I don't know, I still struggle with that here and there, but it's definitely gotten better this past year. So especially this year, like I've been able to produce a lot quicker this year. I don't know what it is, but it's really, excuse me, I'm really thankful for that. So I can definitely show you guys more when I finish this track. I'll show you more in depth of all the new stuff I introduced to it. Hopefully I can get her vocals sometime this week. Hopefully by next weekend, hopefully, or Friday, Saturday. Depends how busy she is. Like, it's no rush. And I'll probably just drop this right away. Originally, it's supposed to be for the album, but I just thought, it's not the sound, exactly the kind of sound I'm going for my album. So, yeah. And once you're done everything, it's just kind of nice to just um, what's it called? Organize everything just so it looks a little cleaner and it's a lot easier to work with. So I'm just gonna do that real quickly. But I think that's pretty much all I had to say for today. I can definitely show you guys more later on this week for sure.